There is a lot to cover today. It is early. I've already been up, got a lot done, bathed the kids. I've got tons of stuff to talk to you guys about. Was Seattle taken? Was it given away? All the rats are squealing louder than ever. There are hearings happening that nobody's going to tell you about, so I'm going to tell you about a lot of that this morning. This stuff's going to transpire as the day goes on, so we'll have another video possibly later tonight, but for sure in the morning. We're still doing our 30 for 30. Thanks for sticking in there. Very quickly, YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, click the bell next to subscribe, make sure you hit all. Leave a comment if you would, that'd be awesome. Again, I'm still getting comments, people telling me they're unsubscribed. I'm watching my subscriber count go up a couple, down a couple, up a couple, down a couple. It's just weird. Not saying for sure, but be sure you guys are clicking on that and making sure you're still subscribed. Come back and check on me. If you don't see a video from me one day, I'm either dead. Actually, we don't want to talk about that. or they didn't tell you about my video, because right now we're banging them out. Really quickly also, today's sponsor, again, you guys, your donations, PayPal, Venmo, and Patreon subscriptions. The Patreons were up to like 83 or 84 people now supporting the channel. You are quite literally bringing this channel to yourselves and everyone else. I cannot thank you enough. When you guys watch this video at the end, if you think what I say is not complete crap and I have value, help me keep this going down below. This is all I do. Thank you very much. We're going into it. Here we go. I want to talk first about the Seattle thing. Tucker nailed it. He went on it. If you guys don't watch Tucker, you guys got to. Just go to Fox News. I suggest you subscribe to them on YouTube. I'll always watch Tucker. He's great. Hannity's great. Jesse's great. There's a lot of them. But Tucker's kind of like the satire guy, right? He throws in some comedy, kind of like passive-aggressive, jokes kind of a thing. He was amazing. And he talked about how there's now this new country, because Seattle and, the citizens of Seattle, or the Antifa of Seattle, whoever you want to call it, has now taken over six blocks, taken over / was given 6 city blocks by a democratically run far left leadership. They didn't take anything. It was given to them. They're in there making a bunch of noise. You guys have all probably seen it. You're going to lose your jobs. They're running around chanting. It's laughable. I'm just going to say that. It is laughable. It is completely laughable. Don't get excited and be like, oh my gosh, there's our country's fault. No, it's not. This is being allowed to happen by Democratic leadership in that city. And they are making sure that all of the footage goes everywhere to stir fear. This is a show. This is a movie. That whole thing is a show and a movie. It's like Westworld. It's laughable. On the subject of laughable, we're moving on to our next thing. Brennan, I saw a tweet where Brennan scalded Trump. It's absolutely laughable at this point to see any of these people talk to our president like they have anything to stand on. They keep using words like unconstitutional and threat to our founding fathers' vision and all those kind of big, scary things. Guys, I'm sorry, again, to the liberals that may watch this show, or to anybody on the fence, every single person, keep track of it. Mark my words, every single person speaking out loudly against our president still, some of them getting louder than ever. The loudest people have the most to lose. It's just where we're at. It's the reality of it. I think Q said something along those lines. Yes, I got that from him. I'm not trying to rob his quote. I just don't remember exactly what it was, and I don't want to pull a Joe Biden and forget. Speaking of pulling a Joe Biden and forgetting, I'm going to keep moving. Keep in mind, Brennan is under oath soon. He's one of the 50 people that Lindsey Graham, has the ability to subpoena. That all went through. He can now bring all these people in. We'll find out Lindsey Graham. We'll find out his true colors. The dude, again, always, if you watch a lot of my videos, if you don't, down in the description down below, or at the end of the video, there will be stuff that runs across the bottom. Watch some of my older videos. We've been talking about this for a while. Again, shout out to all the people in my description. Click show more or click the down arrow. Look at the description. Watch the people I watch if you have a lot more time. I'm a lot more concise. I try to be a little quicker. Don't bring the minutia. But X22 Report, Dan Bongino, QAnon Obi-Wan on YouTube is also great. There's a lot of people that I get this from, and I'm comfortable bringing this all to you. But they posted the fact that Brennan is going under oath, and all these people are going under oath. And they also, a lot of us have talked about the fact that Sidney Powell talks a bit, or sorry, not Sidney Powell, Lindsey Graham talks a big game ends up not doing a lot. We'll find out what ends up happening, but he's got the power to do it all. And all of those people, watch, all the people on that list of people that are going to have to go under oath are all making sure that publicly, on Twitter, on all their social accounts, they're going out of their way to knock the president. They're desperate. They are absolutely desperate. It is showing. It is obvious. They are absolutely fighting for their lives. This is just, so many people see it now. And kudos also to everybody out there, to our new watchers, our new followers, to people in the comments that have been brave enough to say, man, I literally just woke up a week ago. That takes guts. It really does. So the people who've been willing to own that, congratulations. I mean, I didn't open up my eyes to this, forever ago. I've been following a lot of the people in my comments, all that stuff I've kind of been onto for a good solid 3.5 years now. But prior to that, I was absolute ignoramus. I knew nothing. So to the people that are brave enough to say, hey, I'm last week, kudos to you, like I said. Just keep track of, again, how weird it is. All the people speaking out against him, just write those names down, and you're going to find out what all those people are really about here very soon. Moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. This morning I got up early-ish, and it got going, like I mentioned. And one of the things I was doing was listening to Sidney Powell. I think, is that her name, Sidney Powell? Yeah, Sidney Powell, attorney for General Flynn, going to court today through the phone to talk about the whole case thing. Like, this should be done. This should be over. Quick recap. Again, some of our viewers are new. The prosecution has given up on this case. There's nothing to go on. Everybody has walked away. All the judge had to do is sign a paper saying, yep, they gave up. The charges are dismissed. We're moving on. Instead, this judge is holding this up. Judge Sullivan is holding this up. There is absolutely no precedence for this to happen. I listened for... It is crazy. I finally just was like, man, I'm shutting this off and going to making my video. This is going to be hours of them going back and forth. I'm going to save you guys the time. I'll go back and finish watching it. Don't get me wrong. This is what I do now. I'm going to spend the hours to listen to it for you. But so far, I'm a long way in, and all we've gotten out of it is Sidney Powell crushing them and showing them after time after time after time because the way law works, and I'm not an attorney, but what I can gather is that they always just go back to previous cases and refer to previous cases and decisions in those cases and how they cited and why they did it. She goes and she's just banging this judge over the head with his own gavel over and over and over, saying, what about this case, this case, this case, this case? And he comes back, and you can tell he's got some talking points, and he's ready a little bit. But every time he brings up a case and tries to use it against her, she dissects it and says, no, because in that case, they went back and, they referred. What the judge was trying to do, in short, from the time I listened this morning, was say that there is precedence for me to review a case. And he was able to cite a case where a judge stepped back and said, hold on, let's review this. This, maybe doesn't add up. Not even close to the same situation at all. And what they did review was all the stuff that was already there. Folks, with all the stuff that's already there, Flynn should have been free a long time ago. And this is clearly, obviously, an abuse of power. And all the people involved in it should go to prison instead of him. So they're keeping this case open, and Judge Sullivan is fighting for their lives right now, doing everything he can. Every day he buys them is invaluable. Keep that in mind. With every passing day, there's something new. Now Seattle's got its own new country. Now the virus is coming back. There was going to be murder hornets, but they realized how stupid that was and gave up on that. Every passing day this judge buys them is invaluable. Keep in mind, this dude knows how stupid he looks. It's over. They get it. But that doesn't mean they're going to not keep going. They've been lying to us, like I said in yesterday's video that nobody watched. I'll run that at the bottom at the end. Go watch it. Either YouTube turned me off yesterday, which does happen, or yesterday's video had a bad thumbnail. I don't know. Give me some feedback. Comments on the video seem to be amazing. Nobody watched it. But in there, it's pretty remarkable, the stuff that I cover. And then today, watch unfold over and over and over again. They quite literally will not stop lying to us. They've been lying to us for 3.5 years. I've been telling you longer than that. That's just when I started going, oh man, this is obvious. It's been decades. For decades, the TV and media have been lying and programming us. We just are starting to figure it out. Some of us 3 years ago, some of us 2 years ago, some of us a year ago, some of us a week ago. I'm kind of going to go off on a tangent here for a minute. Stick with me, guys. I know some of you say that I go all over the place. That's what I do, and I feel like sometimes it's effective. This is kind of what I'm going to do here. I need people to understand something very, very important. It's very important that if there's people around you, you can help understand this. Don't yell at them. Don't be as loud as I am, because I'm not effective unless I can get people that are brought to me that are already kind of sort of have somebody going, hey, this guy maybe knows what he's talking about. A lot of people, though, my approach is a little too abrasive. When you talk to people, just understand that they are watching. And if you're talking to them at all, that's already a big step in the right direction, whether you instigated or they did. And if they did, it's even better. They're still probably going to stand on the stuff that they've been programmed with for a very, very long time. But understand, all of this is very positive. The world is watching. The world is watching. Q's talked about this over and over, and I'm going to touch on Q here in a second a little bit. The world is watching. He couldn't tell the people because they've been telling the people. Q's been telling us forever. He's been just lobbing softballs left and right. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Why would they do this? Why would they do this? Why would they do this? I've already gotten into Q, so I'm going to address it. Yeah, I watch Q like religiously, and I watch a lot of people that watch Q, and I make sure that what I thought I saw from that was concurrent, or what's the word? Is that concurrent? I think that's a word. Again, not a scholar. If it aligns with a lot of the people that I trust and their thoughts on it, and more times than not, it does now, that again is another reason to me why I'm going to say what I'm going to say next. And this is going to be something that's going to be met with a lot of controversy. And I want everybody, before I say this, breathe with me. Understand there's always perspectives. And I think that what I'm about to say will definitely be misconstrued by a lot of people. Before I say any of this, I support our president, and I support that he supports a God-fearing country and that he supports God and believes in God. At least that's what he tells everybody. What I'm going to say about Q next is going to be misconstrued. I'm going to be as careful about this. I'm going to tiptoe around the tulips, if you will, as much as I can here. A lot of people in comments on these videos will say, you don't need Q, or not even that you don't need Q. A lot of people will just tell me or say to everybody, just go to this Bible verse. This is all you need. And I agree. A lot of those verses are powerful. Like, I go read them and I'm just like, wow. I do. I acknowledge that. A lot of the stuff that's in the Bible is eerily similar to the days that we've been dealing with and the times that we're going through. I'm acknowledging that. Okay? I'm not saying the Bible is incorrect. I'm not saying the Bible shouldn't be followed. I'm not saying that any other religious teachings shouldn't be followed. But I will say this. This is personal experience. This is just me. You can scream at me and yell at me, but this is my personal experience. This is what I have come to this place by living my life. And this is where I'm at. In the time that I have followed along with Q, link in description, qmap.pub. It is not the actual board that Q posts on. That is 8kun. But qmap.pub is a very good resource for every day putting up his timelines, leaving a little caption so you kind of sort of know what he's getting at. And then you can go follow the links and the breadcrumbs and whatever and find your own answers always. That's all Q's ever asking you to do, is find your own answers, right? So I've been down that path now for going on a good solid, started a little 3.5 years ago, but I've been probably going hard on it for, I would say, a good 1.5 to 2 years, like nerded out. 1.5 to 2 years. In my younger days, I was very religious and I did study the Bible a lot. And I did study the Book of Mormon a lot. I grew up LDS. I grew up Mormon. As a kid, on Sundays in the LDS religion, the first Sunday of every month is Fast Sunday. So that's where the sacrament part of, and again, when I was a kid, it was 3 hours for your first hour of sacrament. They moved that around a little bit from time to time, but most of it seemed like sacrament was always first. People would go up and they would basically bear their testimony. They go up and tell people that they believe in the church, why they believe in church. They give experiences they've had. They reference scriptures. There's a lot of things that people go up and say, hey, this is why I'm here. This is what I believe in. This is why. A lot of as a kid, again, I went, not in my young years, but in my teen years, I chose to start going. And was something that I put together. This is not to say whether anything is true, not true, or what I believe, anything. I'm not making any stances right now. This is an observation about Scripture. Both the Bible and the Book of Mormon that I read, and the Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, stuff that I read in my religion. Again, on observation of all of them. So I'm not knocking a religion. It's none of that. I'm just giving you context. People would go up at this testimony meeting, and over years, of going to church, you start to hear a lot of the same scriptures get referred to. Like there are favorites. A lot of the people, in fairness, is because they just heard that scripture in their teaching and it stuck with them, and that's the one that, to me, I started to put together. That person doesn't actually study a lot of scripture because they seem to always just give me the ones that I'm learning about in seminary class in 9th grade. I just started to myself feel like a lot of it was really vague and really left open for interpretation. And I thought that, and the reason that I started to see that and think that is because a lot of it was like the same stuff being quoted. The same scriptures kind of were like the basis of everybody's testimony. Not a whole body of work, not the whole book, not the whole Bible, not the whole Book of Mormon, not any of that. The stuff that I research on qmap.pub and on 8kun and 4kun when it was, and it moves around, so you got to keep following. But all the different places that I'm able to follow along with what Q's doing and what Q is presenting and asking me to pay attention to, all those places that I'm able to do that, it's not telling me a story that's vague that I'm leaving open for interpretation. It's asking me some questions, and it's leaving some places to go look, and it's not like leaving places that are CNN quotes either. And when they are CNN quotes, they're not quotes that help CNN or those people. They're quotes that crush CNN and those people. So it's, to me personally, the Q program and the teachings and everything that I've been following, it's less vague than a lot of the teachings and a lot of the verses that some of you people are leaving in my comments. For what it's worth, keep leaving them. I love those comments. I read them start to finish. They register. I get the meaning out of them. I take what I can from them that's positive. I try to dismiss the stuff that for me I've started to kind of question a little because of all that's going on. But man, I all of that was to implore a lot of you, please start, at least give a little bit of time to Q before you call us all quacks. Because it is, if you believe in the scripture verses and if that stuff speaks to you, there's no way you can go follow along with what Q has been asking us to research and look at and not also find the same promptings from that stuff, in my opinion, that you feel like you get from Bible verses or scripture or whatever it is that you follow. To me, it is now beyond refute. It just is. And it's been in too many ways confirmed. I don't really talk about that on this channel a lot. I try to stay a little more layman and a little less full Q on this channel. But I need to own it more because this is full Q sent me here stuff. I'm just being honest. And it's probably going to get my video completely crushed, demonetized for having said all this stuff. But a lot of the stuff that is happening right now, this transitions me into my next point. A lot of the stuff that is happening right now in our country, in the world, because there's a lot of you I know here from all around the globe, has been talked about for now years. Since the Q program went up, since they started posting stuff, this stuff has been talked about. Some of it a little more loosely interpreted, but some of it has just quite literally been like, bam, on the 2-year delta. It cannot be refuted anymore. It just can't. This stuff, and it's not, a lot of people I see, and there's a lot of fear being spread, and I think a lot of people, even QAnons like myself, fall into the media's trap of like fear sells, right? Like they try to make their videos scary and I just refuse to do that. And I refuse to do that because, guys, in my heart and in my mind and where I'm at, I'm cool. Like to quote Big Lebowski, calmer than you are. Calmer than you are. I hope some of you guys love that quote. I hope I didn't just make myself look dumb. That's a good show. But it's the Q program and all that I've learned in watching Dan Bongino, watching X22 Report, following Educating Liberals, following QAnon Obi-Wan, QMail Drops, Steven is amazing. All the dudes in the bakery. That knowledge has not led me to a place of being scared of any of this. It's led me to be confident with all of this stuff. I want to end with something else. To anybody who misconstrued anything that I just said in this message as, see, he worships Q. And I did not say that. And no, I do not. In any way, that is a silly argument to make. I'm sorry, but that's dumb. I pray with my kids every night. My kids have never mentioned Q. We've never talked about Q. We've never prayed and thanked for Q. It doesn't happen. My kids know actually about this stuff. We don't talk about Q, but my kid asks me. My kid's into this. It's awesome. One of my proud moments as a father. But I don't pray to Q with my family, okay? Spirit of full disclosure, when I do my personal prayers at night, I do pray that I have, and I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I said this the right way, because I said a prayer before I did this. Full disclosure. I thank our Creator for knowing what I know. I am very much in a place of comfort with all that's happening. I also ask for the ability to decipher all that is happening intelligently so that I can give you, the viewers, an invaluable sense of security with all that is coming in the world and all that is coming with people becoming awakened. I'm aware that as you learn this stuff, there's a period of just like despair. I went through that too. There are stages to this awakening. And again, a whole nother video. I need to make one now that I thought about that. There are stages to this. At first, it's like, oh, there's no way it's true. And then it's like, oh man, too much of this is adding up. It is true. And then it's like, holy crap, I'm in despair. What am I going to do? I hate the world. Then you kind of start to like get comfortable with it. I feel like I'm like stage 4 transition into stage 5 personally, and I have great comfort in all that's going on. And I'm trying to give you guys that same sense of security in a world of madness, because I know after you leave this video, almost everything you go and watch is going to be fear, scared, the world's ending, biblical times, rah, rah, rah. I do believe these are biblical times. I do believe these were written about. I'd have to know you personally, and I'd have to have a lot of time to give you my personal thoughts on all of that. Oh, whoa, I almost knocked my stuff over. Sorry about that. I'd have to have a very high level of comfort and a lot of time to go down that rabbit hole with you personally. I'm trying to make sure everybody knows what's up. I want you guys to be comfortable with the awakening. And the best way that I feel like I can articulate it for people is by doing this and making these videos. And I hope that today's video did not, again, send anybody running thinking that Jared doesn't believe in God or anything to that effect, because I absolutely do. But I don't believe that believing in God or believing in Bible verses and believing in Q are synonymous. You don't have to have one or the other. You don't. So, to everybody leaving comments about Bible stuff, I love you. Thank you. Keep that stuff coming, because I don't read enough Bible anymore. I don't. Thank you. I get it from you guys, so I appreciate it. But again, those same people need to look down some other avenues. I'm done. Video's got to get up today. I'm trying to make this one hit 11:11. We'll see if I make it. To all my patrons, thank you all so much for the support. If you do not support me yet and want to, again, link in the description. I love you all so much. Patrons, today's video, I really want to hit 11:11. I'm not going to give you guys first dibs. I'll do it tomorrow on the next one. Probably not going to make 11:11 though. We'll see what happens. Love you all. Jared, RedRacer video. See you on the next one.